What's up, Crypto Crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Might, actively escaping the Matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat! Crypto
Crew, we know Kasplex's launch of the L2 is delayed until further notice. Still, Kaspa will have smart contracts soon, and for a proof-of-work crypto project which can scale whilst maintaining Bitcoin-like security and decentralization is a big deal still. Not just for Kaspa, but for the development of crypto as a whole. And so today, Kaspa originator Yonatan Sompolinsky talks about smart contracts, which is from his recent marathon interview with Vlad of the Bitcoin Takeover Podcast. Now, this isn't just another chat about crypto buzzwords. Yonatan gets deep, talking about why Kaspa's fate is tied to the future of Bitcoin and the entire crypto ocean, how it learns from the strengths of Solana and the mistakes of Ethereum. Stay tuned, Crypto Crew.
Da Vinci, did you just tweet about Kaspa? Yeah, I did. And the reason why is because I'm joined their Telegram group and I want to prove that it was actually me.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Quick shout out to our partners, Caleb and Brown. These guys have been in the crypto space for almost a decade, building a reputation for guiding investors like you through the sometimes chaotic waters of this crypto ocean. From trading and securely holding your assets like Kaspa to seamless withdrawals with no hidden fees, Caleb and Brown offers institutional level security to you, delivered with a personal 24/7 touch. So if you want calm, competent support to help steer your next bull run, check out Caleb and Brown through the link in the description.
Kaspa doesn't have the power in and of itself to push crypto, by its own merit, and you can consistently be a Kaspa maxi and still acknowledge that Kaspa's fate is intertwined with crypto's fate, and it can't be too much of an outlier. I don't see a world where Bitcoin is highly used other than store of value, and Kaspa is not.
Mark Crook says, "Hi Yonatan, you compared Kaspa contracts to Solana. Explain why Kaspa will be far better and why banks will ultimately adopt the better tech."
I don't know that banks will adopt the better tech. Well, the reason I'm referencing Solana, it's because it achieved, due to its monolithic design, a very cohesive society of developers, so to speak. And Ethereum suffers from so much fragmentation, and it's no longer clear what does it mean to be in Ethereum. Like, let's say someone takes Kaspa and implements a bridge to make Kaspa a sidechain to Ethereum, what Polygon was able to pull off under the name of L2. It's like a spectrum of gray. It's unclear what does it mean to become Ethereum, whereas it's very clear what does it mean to build in Solana. And this is what I'm referring to. There's also, of course, the Rust nativeness. And again, these things will not be coded by me. Hans is working on this. Of course, Michael is working on this, and others. I'm not implying that I'm coding this design, but from a vision and direction point of view, it's clear to me. It has been clear for several years now. The way users and Kaspa builders should feel in the system, in the ecosystem, is much more similar to Solana than to Ethereum. Of course, Ethereum has a much more interesting community in the sense of research and ideas. And I guess it's the most interesting community and most contributing most to understanding of DeFi and other ideas in crypto. So, of course, it has lots of merits. So this is not a jab at Ethereum so much as an aspiration to learn from its mistakes. And I think a lot of what's happening in Kaspa is a timing issue, so like the late runner advantage, because we are developing smart contracts in the era where ZK is in real-time proving is in the horizon, and ZK is already production ready. We get the benefit to be the first or one of the first layer ones to incorporate ZK design in advance. We're developing smart contracts exactly when ZK tech is ready. But the bottom line is we want the same developer experience as Solana and the same social cohesiveness of devs as Solana, and at the same time maintaining Bitcoin-like security in the sense that of separating the entire financial logic from L1. Once we publish the formal model and paper, both the yellow paper and a more academic-like paper, it will become clear what the formal claim is and what the formal guarantees are. It won't remain opaque for too long. The claims will be made concrete in writing, but I just want to make sure that it's not falsely understood that you'll be able to code actual Solana contracts in Kaspa, because Solana itself is not a ZKVM. You need to create a ZKVM. So the developer experience would be very much similar to Solana, but formally you will write in a ZKVM, a ZK EVM, SP1. It's not importing Solana as is. It's more aspiring to achieve the same level of cohesiveness and experience and Rust nativeness, etc. What happened in Ethereum with the fragmentation of L2 to different rollups is that people started thinking or advocating for the interoperability of rollups. But even this interoperability is more like using Ethereum L1 for standard bridge or standard message communication layer between the rollups in an asynchronous manner. Right? To interact with layer 1, then your rollup sent to L1, then L1 sends to the rollup, to the other rollup. It's called async composability. Many people in Ethereum community, including Vitalik himself, argue that asynchronous composability is more than enough for most of the needs. What I argue is that this could be the case only if you already succumbed to the existence of rollups to begin with. If you wanted people to create contracts that with incentives to interop with one another and not with incentive to attract as much activity to this island without interoperability with others, like rollups' natural incentive is. If you want that, then you have to have synchronous composability. Let's assume we're giving up synchronous composability in Kaspa, and which means we will implement Solana-like CPI, again with ZKVMs, but the messaging between programs would be through L1. So you will suffer a proof latency to L1 and a proof latency to the other program. Then the bad UX for composite transactions, for transactions composing different contracts, because the users will have a risk of their transaction not implementing the logic they wanted. So other than this financial inefficiency and risk for users, due to this financial inconvenience and risk for users would highly prefer smart contracts that interact in a synchronous manner. And this will incentivize users to cooperate within rollups. If you don't implement synchronous composability natively in the program, you're giving rollups an advantage over regular smart contracts, meaning you're giving entities that want to siphon the network effect of layer 1 an advantage over regular smart contracts. This is why it's very important to commit to synchronous composability from the outset, even though it requires more heavy efforts on the research and development side, in order to ensure that the development of DeFi products on Kaspa is cohesive. There's one society that's developing and expanding, and not fragments and islands of societies. This is the context or the motivation to commit to synchronous composability, and why we are taking a very different route than what Ethereum has took. And if you look today on what Ethereum is talking about, there are voices in Ethereum that are trying to reverse the wheel and go back to a more L1 enshrined native. These things mean slightly different things, but ensuring that everything, or trying to make everything cohesive through L1 rather than delegating the activity and standards to L2.
Yeah, thank you for that. There is someone in the chat who has been trying to ask a question for about 2 hours, and for some reason I didn't pick up this question, so I'm gonna read it now. His name is 33 Ethereum, and he says, when Sparkle is developed, even though it isn't the same as running SC on L1, will the UX still feel as though it is monolithic? Will there be bridging necessary?
Well, Sparkle is Anton's project. I don't know what's the status of Anton's efforts. Anton is definitely to be credited for throwing me personally in the direction of Solana years ago. I mean, he's consistently told me about the advantage of running or developing on Solana versus Ethereum. But I do want to emphasize that, yes, in the monolithic versus modular debate, I view Kaspa as appearing monolithic. In practice, you will be able to integrate into Kaspa several proof systems. You would be able to run ZK EVM, SP1 VM, maybe with Zero, maybe Cairo. Like you would be able to develop your own, integrate your own ZK VM, and you would definitely be able to dictate your own programs, state size, state growth regulation, throughput regulation through gas. So definitely there will be clear autonomy and sovereignty for builders to dictate their conditions and their terms. But for users and developers, it will feel much more monolithic and much more similar to the experience of Solana devs. Of course, not the same. There will still be the more diverse state sizes, but it will feel more like native, not in the sense of using L1 computation, but or resources, but in the sense of having the same a cohesive standard, a cohesive way of talking with one another. It will feel like native. It will feel L1-ish, even if it's not on L1.
Crypto Crew, Kaspa isn't just another project. It is positioning itself as a new kind of layer one that feels as seamless as Solana while keeping the security mindset of Bitcoin and embracing the cutting-edge zero-knowledge tech from the start. Yonatan Sompolinsky simply reminds us that crypto isn't just about chasing price, it's about building ecosystems that last. Kaspa is betting big on synchronous composability and developer cohesion, and as Yonatan pointed out, when Bitcoin thrives, Kaspa thrives. What do you think, Crypto Crew? Could Kaspa carve out its place alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, at the making of this recording, Kaspa smart contracts are delayed, but I believe it's just a matter of time. My personal conviction is still high. Kaspa still is more than just another cryptocurrency. And so if you're looking to safeguard your Kaspa coins and other crypto investments, you can get 10% off your Tangent wallet, which we believe is your best option to self-custody your crypto investments. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say I.